Fit FM is owned and operated by Communistation Company Limited, located in Stuart Castle, Duncan's Trelawney, Jamaica. We broadcast on FM 96.7 locally and is heard worldwide on fitfmja.com. Our mission is to amplify diverse voices and opinions, inform, educate, entertain, and engage listeners of all ages and lifestyle while promoting responsible community development. Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music.
Are you struggling with loneliness? Feeling depressed? Are you searching for a purpose to live? Are you ready to tap into your inner greatness? Ready to soar to your full potential? Come and be inspired. Join me, Dr. Asha Mwendo, on Healing Moment inside Gospel and Soul every Wednesday, 6 p.m., where we will help you to understand your purpose. We will help you to find your wind. We'll show you how to open your wings and fly. Healing Moments, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. Good evening, my people. How are you this evening? I am your girl, Dr. Asha Mwendo, and you know you're listening to Healing Moments on Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. And this evening, as usual, we have an awesome show lineup for you. But you know, I want you to be a part of the conversation. So send us your messages and your voice notes at our WhatsApp number at 876 317-1991 or 876-478-9144. As usual, you know, Healing Moments stand and call for the elimination of violence against our women and our girls, and we will not stop saying it until it is our reality. This evening, I will have some empowered women sitting in with me again, and these women are so multifaceted. I have so many angles. And even when I don't talk to them this evening, I know I'm not going to finish all the angles. So if you see them again, I know nothing. And that is what it is all about. I will tell you who they are in a while, because this evening we're talking about leveling up, taking charge of self and moving forward. And since we're talking about this evening we're talking about possibilities. as your reality. And so you know the drill already. You're going to tell a friend, get your sip, get your pen, listen to this bit of music until we come right back.
Killer beat.
Oh, plead my cause, oh Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and stand up for mine help. Draw out also the spear, and stop the way against them that persecute me. All glory be to the Almighty, yeah. Lord, watch over us tonight. Protect my family. In a time like this, we ask for mercy. Watch me in my going out and in my coming in. Good Lord, please tell me why they don't want me to win. Because the enemies are after me. Don't let them conquer me. Show me what my eyes can't see, so they won't conquer me. Jaja, as long as I live, oh, bless me, Lord. Let them be as chaff before the wind. I know you can put them to shame. Put them to shame, the ones who want to cause me pain. Forgive them cause they don't know, and I pray for them the same. Father, this is why I call upon your name. For the enemy surrounding me, don't let them conquer me. Show me what my eyes can see, so they won't conquer me. Jaja, as long as I live, oh, bless me, Lord. When I lay me down to sleep, I pray my soul to keep. Cover me under your wings. I need you now more than ever. I can't do it by myself. I'm weak and tired and surely need your help. Cause the enemy surrounding me, don't let them conquer me. Show me what my eyes can't see, don't let them conquer me. Jaja, as long as I live, oh, bless.
Welcome back. Yes, no enemy and conquering around here this evening. We are here to talk about leveling up, rising up, and standing in greatness. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to all my listeners on all the platforms. Reverend J. Ruddy, good to have you with me this evening. And if it doesn't matter where you are, June, Lavinia, on the other platform, I hear you selling you big up. So all our platforms. But for this evening, I want to give a grand shout out to the community of Jacksontown right here in Trelawney. And I'm saying, tell Jacksontown brethren and sistren, if they are not on yet, please get on. Because this evening, we are telling Jacksontown is leveling up, right? But until we get to that, COVID numbers are rising, people. They are rising. And I hear people calling for government to put back in place for them to start mandating for us to wear our masks again. I am asking us as a people, wherever you are in the world today, especially right here in Jamaica, why can't you wear your mask if somebody don't tell you to put it on? You want freedom of choice. You want a right to choose your own way. This is the time to show that you're really free. Put on your mask yourself without anybody mandating you to put it on. Take care of your children, protect their health. And when the picnic is sick, for Christ's sake, don't send them a school for teacher babysit them. because then they're going to infect other people's children, and then school will be closed down, and then you will go to government and say you can't afford to buy the data for them to study from home and all the stories. Take responsibility for your own life, for you. And if anyone catch it and is going to die, I go you, right? Don't look on who get it and survive. Just imagine those who get it and didn't. And for persons who believe because of their lifestyle, they should take the vaccine to survive, in case they have it, please take it. And I am saying to you generally, vaccine or no vaccine, start taking care of your health. A balanced hormone seldom gets sick. Believe it or not. But most of us not so balanced. So we have to do what we need to do to get balance, attain and maintain balanced life. So your lifestyle will dictate how you operate. And when you go into public spaces, not jump up on people. Don't push up. And when you're standing too close to someone who is practicing social distance and they step away, don't curse them. They're taking care of themselves. Because when I see you come too close to me and I'm stepping away, frankly, if you want to curse, it's your business, because I will not respond. But I'd rather if you don't curse me. I'd rather if you don't. And when you're going to private business places and they tell you that you need to put on your mask, don't tell them that government say. Are the people in business private place, and they can determine the rules and regulation. And even some government institutions are now asking you for your mask. I was in St. Mary yesterday, and a gentleman, apparently there's a restaurant in the building where the police are, and a gentleman asked where the restaurant is, and the policeman asked him, where's your mask? He don't give him the information until he go get the mask and come back. So even some government persons are taking responsibility, realizing even though there's not a mandate, they are protecting themselves and the users of their services. So I want to big up the police at headquarters, Area 2 headquarters in Pampano Bay, St. Mary, for what I saw yesterday. I felt good. And if I had a need to go to the police, I would know that I'd be safe. So all of us need to take responsibility. And then the murders. Friends. A friend of mine, well, first he was an acquaintance, he's now a friend. But when he was just an acquaintance from Israel, I was meeting this young man for the very first time when he came to Jamaica to do his PhD, and I was asked to be his chaperone. And when we talked, and based on what he was doing, I said to him, after we do St. James, we're going to do Kingston. And he said to me, he's not going to Kingston. I said, why? He said he heard about all the killings that are going on in Kingston. I said to him, I am offended that you're coming from Israel, where every day you kill 100, 300 Pakistani. You got to tell me to commit murder at Kingston. So you're not going up there. And he said something very important, and I never forgot it. And it's like some 20 years ago. He said, in Jamaica, brothers are killing brothers. In Israel and Pakistan, they're having a holy war. Israeli don't kill Israeli, and Pakistani don't kill Pakistani. Jamaicans kill down to their brother for a dumpling. This was his response. And guys, we are still not living to make that a lie. We're killing our brothers and our sisters. Now you have a funeral and people mourning, and somebody go to in the morning and go create more death. Why can't we just settle our differences properly? Why can't we just have integrity and stop doing illegal things so we don't have to kill people? Because we have issues that we can't go to police station about. Because you can't go tell the police them to the man thief your gun. You can't tell the police them to never get all of your drugs money. You can't tell them to the man thief your coke or your ganja. So therefore you take jungle justice in your own hands. If we stop doing illegal things, we'll have more justice. Come on, let us stop it. Because to be honest, it not look good, it not feel good, and it not sound good. The other day when I was abroad and I hear the international news coming out of Jamaica, because you are now in another country, so the international news is somebody else's business, and sometimes somebody else's business is your hometown business, and it don't sound good when you hear it on the international scene. And guess what? What I noticed on the international scene, you will have government or some civil society organization open 2 schools, gave out 100 school bags. That's not on the news in the international scene. Man kill man is on the news. So the good things that happen most times are not on the international scene. It's the bad things. So let's stop giving so much bad stories out the road for them to talk. And when people talk bad about Jamaica, we ask, then are we one? Hello. I always say, even my mom would tell you when I was growing up, it doesn't matter what wrong thing you say I have done, even if it is a lie. I never ask the question if I want to do it. Because if it is wrong, no matter how much I will do it, it's wrong. And if it's a lie they tell on me, I don't really defend and ask if other people not doing it. I don't ask those questions because it not look good when 100 that will do the wrong thing anyway. And why don't you want to be a part of the group that is doing the right thing? You want to be associated with the group that is doing the wrong thing. Come on, man. A lot of the problems we have in this country is because of lack of integrity, whether you believe it or not. Then there's this Let's Talk. We really have a lot to talk about. The video, I don't know how many persons saw the video going around in Jamaica of this child and the teacher in the classroom. I felt the teacher's pain. I felt her inability to control. And because she was unable to control, and I have a strong feeling, not an issue, that she come from the place where if you're wrong, you get a lick down. And she was now in a setting where teachers cannot beat, so she can't use physical to constrain this child. And this child is aware that the teacher can't beat him either. And so he was rude. And I hear a lot of people talk about what the teacher should have done, could have done. I am saying I was not in her position. And I'm saying, just like Hollywood, there's something behind the scenes that you don't see and you don't hear. And I don't know what is behind the scenes. Yes, of course, what we see on screen, in video, in live, the teacher should have taken control a little earlier of her class. She should have tried at some way to diffuse the behavior of the child without hitting him, of course, which was a challenge. And then she lost control of the rest of the class in dealing with this child. I don't know her story. I don't know the behind the scenes. I will not pass judgment. I will also say I don't know the child's behind the scene behavior. I don't know what led the child to be who this child is. But this child did not become who he is in the teacher's care at school. He became who he is at home. At home, he's a product of the home and community in which he lives. So while it might depict on the teacher that she didn't do well, it also depicts on the home and on the family and the community as well. So we have to work together to fix it. So this is, and I always say, anytime you see something happening, the tip of the iceberg, that means no fighter go on else you're not finished. It's not unique, it's not new. It's all of them, this thing is happening too. And so it is happening more. And so therefore, we need to step up to the game, start helping our teachers and get more involved with the PTAs as community persons that we can get it right. This child needs intervention. And with intervention that this child needs, maybe the whole school, I don't even know which school that is, but we need a community intervention as well. So if you know where it is happening, put a group together, address it. If you can't address it, reach out to us. We will help you to plan the way forward. Now I have a challenge, 6 teachers in 8 days. And my heart is sad. We have had 6 teachers die that we know of, because the possibility exists that we don't know of all persons that would have died. But we know 6 teachers that we know, senior teachers that have died in the past 8 days. And it don't feel good and it don't look good. And it raises a number of questions. My questions are, is it stress related from school? Life and everything coming together, leading to stroke and everything else that it is associated that these teachers die from heart attack and all of these things. Did they have COVID? Is it the long haul of COVID and it is not being addressed? Did they take the vaccine? And is that impact of the vaccine not detoxing their body and everything else compounding and creating the challenges, blocking their arteries? And a lot of persons walking around with their arteries, blood flowing, they have good pressure. So the top is good when the heart is beating. But when the heart goes to rest, they don't realize that the bottom number is too low. They are taught to have a low number at the bottom and at the top, that when the bottom one is really too low, when the heart is at rest, the heart is not getting enough oxygen. A lot of people overlook that and don't get help until it is too late, because that means there's not enough oxygen in the bloodstream to help the body to work properly. It leads to stroke, heart attack, and other issues. And so therefore, I'm asking persons, take your health in charge. When you do your own blood pressure at home, look at the numbers. Is the top looking perfect and all right and the bottom too low? It means that when your heart is at rest, your body is not getting enough oxygen and you need to address it. And these, the other day, even my daughter was saying to me, they were talking about hypertensive day and nobody was talking to the people about hypotensive, where some people pressure is just simply too low. Because in the past 3 weeks, I have had a number of clients that have come to me whose pressure are too low during the days. At night it balances out, but during the days when it's hot, their pressure go down too low. They tell them they get dizzy, they hold on their head and they can't operate, because nobody is telling them that hypertension kills you maybe quicker than hypertension. So we need to look into these little things, right? And we need to realize that it's not a one size fit all. And all size 7 shoes are size 7 shoes. Because some a nigga man size 7 and some a Chinese man size 7. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I would say to persons, I wear XL pants. So I'm in the US and I'm shopping. And at last minute I was doing some quick shop. I know me love my black already, so me want like 4 or 5 black pants. Because I wear a lot of black pants, so sometimes people think that they see one, but then different. So I bought 3 black pants and I still need another one. I just tell myself I need another one. And I saw XL and it's black and it's XL. Me wear some, me buy it and come home. Now, if you are a little bigger than I am, I have a XL pants that can't fit me because it's too big. Because it's XL, yes, but it's different XL, it don't fit. So because I didn't try it on, I don't know, it's not my size. So we don't walk around now judging people off our own level and judging people off the same thing. Because not all size 7 are size 7, not all XL is XL. So we don't judge everybody, teacher, pick me, everybody off the same level with neighbor. So, and I'm saying this especially to our neighbors, our people who like to look at the Joneses. I know, I look good, I look good. And I know everything where people have, you go want if you know how them get it. Because if you know how some people get it, you not even want to look near like it. In case somebody know how them get it, think I see them, so you get it too. Right? So keep your eyes focused. Try on what fits you. Don't just use it one size fit all. Normally when I go into store and they tell me it's one size fit all, I say fit all of who? Me trying it on. I have gone to buy stuff already. They tell me, oh, you don't have to try it on. It's one size fit all. But all of who? All of slim people, or all of fat people, or all of medium-sized people. Because if I'm going to buy a dress at my size that fits all down to the slim person, me have a problem. Because somebody now going to look good in it. And I don't know if it's me. So I'm not buying it, right? So in all things, make sure you get what fits you and not everybody else. So let me do a quick shout out now to our farmers market in Runaway Bay. If I tell you, if you want booth spaces are there, you want to go out and shop with them tomorrow, you call Jennifer at 876-853-4455. It is awesome. Great things are happening. The food is good. When I tell us that the fish turn up, it turn up. right? And everybody is boasting about the other things that they get. The soup is great as well. I can tell you about those too because I've had them. But the kitchen always smell happening when they are cooking, and the food there is reasonable. The market prices are awesome. Go out and check them. And as usual, I'm asking you to continue to support my brother Dave Gale down in the project down in Westmoreland, where they are putting up the house for these blind women and her partner, the mom's partner. People, the house reach a stage where we need to put on the roof now and put in the window. You know that's expensive. So we need your help, but things are happening. The work is moving, and Dave Gale have CDs. You can contribute and get a CD for $1,000, and the songs are great. So you can just look up Dave on all social media platforms. You use Dave Gale. You'll find him there, and he will take your calls, and he will tell you how you can give and where you give. You get all of that from Dave. Wow. That's a whole lot of talking from my Let's Talk this evening. So as my engineer puts on another music, so we're going to... So my studio engineer, she's going to put on the music now, and she's laughing because it's not that me normally call her. Anyway, but she's engineering in here this evening, trust me. So therefore, we're going to listen to this music, and when we come back, we will get into the meat of the matter. You'll meet my guests.
Me wonder how them see me. Me wonder how them see me when me no see them. Oh God, by the grace of God me a live, and every day man I think positive. And all the go on them a go on, still a fear love me give. Yeah, why should I worry? Why should I fear? When me left on me burden, in the Father's care. Why should I worry? Why should I fear? Oh God, say them mighty, but today, oh yeah, them can't compare. Yeah. So when the devil send them come to try make you straight, after things where you don't know about, you lose your way. Just lift your hands to the sky and call on the Most High. Almighty I never deny. So why should I worry? Why should I fear? When me left on me burden, in the Father's care. Why should I worry? Why should I fear? Oh God, say them mighty, but today, oh yeah, them can't compare. Yeah, I don't see them. Me now have no time to free them. After me now study Eden. Father God, please free them. Forgive them, Lord, cause them don't know what they have done. Hey. Them lose from them right, get your son. Yeah, them be know I be a blessing of love. God clean it wiser than the snow. Oh, wicked heart shall reap on them soul. Not fear from a little and a grow. So why should I worry? Why should I fear? When me left on me burden, in the Father's care. Why should I worry? Why should I fear? Oh God, say them mighty, but today, oh yeah, them can't compare. Me now worry. Why should I fear?
Yes. We are not worrying around here because we are in the care of the Father. I want to pick up all my listeners this evening. And Audrey, thanks for joining us. Good to have you with us. Good evening. And to all our listeners everywhere this evening, and I hope the Jacksontown people have already tuned in. We're giving you enough time. So this evening, I have in studio with me no stranger, they have been here before, but life have many angles, and these ladies are dynamic, and they have many angles, enough to tell you no things, right? So guess what now? The two ladies I have for me this evening, and it's after I asked them, I even bounced back on the fact to say that the two of them come from the same community. They are from Jacksontown and they are leveling up like crazy. And they're going to tell us all about it this evening. So my guests this evening are Felicia Ricketts Graham, a purpose finder strategist, principal, entrepreneur, multiple business owner, purpose walker, and she is leveling up. Beside her, I have Miss Natanish Hines, certified etiquette consultant, parish manager for 4-H in Trelawney. She's an entrepreneur, business owner, purpose walking lady, and she's leveling up as well. And I must tell you something else about Miss Natanish. She was a teen mom. So if you're a teen mom out there this evening and feeling that the world has come to an end and people tell you, say you're done, tell them, say, you're just a come because you're just finding your purpose and walking. Natanish was a student of the Women's Center in Jamaica. And she's a proud one. And to say that even though this is how part of her journey and part of her story goes, this is who she is today. She has transformed her life. She's leveling up. You notice I didn't say she has leveled up. Because she's leveling up. And both my sisters this evening are leveling up. And they are opening the doors to show us that there are possibilities around every corner. And so at this time, I'll ask Miss Felicia, then Miss Hines, to tell the people them who no be. Other than who me think who no be. Yes, Miss.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone. I am Felicia Ricketts Graham. I am a principal, as was mentioned earlier. But, most importantly, I am passionate about education and entrepreneurship because I believe that those two E's are powerful and they have the power to change the world. So I run several businesses, the Purpose Finder Club, Western STEM Academy, as well as Pro Linkage Marketing and a branding agency. I'm a wife, right? A new one, learning, right? But I love interacting with persons and showing persons that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, it's all about where you're going and you can level up. You can be powerful regardless of your circumstances.
Amen. Natanish, tell the people a little bit more about yourself.
Hi. I'm no stranger to Fit FM.
Not at all.
I guess you must be wondering by now if I'm sure older. Oh no. Right. So I'm Natanish Hines. I am the CEO and founder of Etiquette and Protocol Solutions. I'm also the parish manager for the Trelawney 4-H clubs. I also serve on the Optimist International Caribbean District Committee as the chairperson responsible for the Childhood Health and Response Mission, in short, CHARM. I am the mother, of one handsome son. Listen, I'm keeping my gate closed. Right. And I believe in leveling up. I believe in going after what you want. I believe that there is possibility and we are all a part of it. So you just need to apply yourself. No matter what others are saying, just move forward.
Amen. So there you have it. One of them, the one that is locking our gate, she's still single. So she not let the gate for her son alone. Me no know what going. Me no know nobody business. But the last time I know, I was not introduced to anybody, so she's still single. And as I tell my women, and as I tell my sisters, if the gate don't close yet and you don't have on the ring, you're still single until further notice. And so I don't listen to me. You hear what I said? I don't know if she's dating. I don't know anything. So if anybody out there knows him, did kind of make a promissory note to her and hear me, they tell other people say she free. Don't vex with that. It's my story. I'm sticking to it though until other notice is given. So until further notice, yes. And we have other single people in the studio as well. But, you know, we have other single people in the studio. What can I say? And I will call them single until further notice.
Yes.
And it's part of the conversation, ladies. I see a lot of women walking around claiming men who have not claimed them publicly.
Can I tell you?
And if you're a private shareholder in anybody's company, it don't make no sense. Because if you're private and you cannot go public, when the business go public, you still not have no claim. And if the owner for the business dead and you're a private shareholder, you might not get nothing. No. I have the unfortunate experience recently of a friend of mine. He's a very close friend of mine, and he was cheating on his wife. I found out he was cheating on his wife, but it's not really my business. It's the wife and for him business. Was only to know eventually that she knows. But she decided that at their age, and I tell you, I say at their age because they're older than me. So if at their age, she decides, if at her age, him decides, say, him look for what him not put on now. And as she said, she know that a lot of dogs running on cars that they cannot drive. So therefore, she not pay him no mind because him run the when can manage. Anyway, one evening he left work, went to pick up the sweetheart, took sick. She took him to the hospital and did not inform his family. So in their mind, he was missing. But because I was talking to him the evening before, I could say to the wife whose presence he was in, because no me to say to me no care, because he could have missing. Upon investigation, he's in the hospital. And the hospital contacted her, told her which hospital he was in, and he went in and took charge, because she's wife.
Yeah.
And then his other documents, like his briefcase and stuff, the sweetheart had them and refused to hand them over because she's saying is in his presence, in her presence, he took sick. So she's the new owner of the man. So when the wife called me, I said to her, if there are documents that are important and his phone and stuff that might important, get the police to collect it. Otherwise, don't pay the woman no mind. Even if he dies and she wants to bury him, make she bury him too. Because it's her name paper them, it's her name upon the papers them, and her name on the documents. So do not pay the child any mind. Go to the hospital, let them know, talk with your husband, because he was conscious, he could have talked for himself, to let the hospital know that the woman is not to visit. Because he was the one who tell the people to call you, that means he still counts you as wife. He had not abandoned, he was just cheating. He didn't abandon his family. Long and short of it, they eventually get everything sorted out. 2 weeks, couple days after they sort out everything, the man died. He never made it out of the hospital. But the long and short of it is, women don't want people who not want you. The man didn't file for divorce from his wife. He just happened to be in your presence when he took sick. And we're glad that she did the right thing by taking him to the hospital. But that is where her responsibility ended. If she was a good person, and this is how I look at it, if she was a good person with any form of integrity at all, should have immediately called the wife. And he shouldn't have to tell me name, just say, John, the upper hospital, right. Go up there, argument done, and leave the phone. Don't carry on the man's phone. And so one of the things in leveling up as women is know who you are, have pride in yourself. I am not going to tell nobody not to cheat, because that's a personal choice. Even if you want to keep my husband, I'm not going to tell enough to keep him. You know why? I'm not even saying you have him already, but you can knock on every door. If nobody not open it, you cannot go in. Yeah. So if my husband don't open the door, you cannot come into our lives. And if you come in, I still don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with him, and I have a principle that I set for myself that I don't eat with fork where other people use. It must wash, clean, and put on. So if other people use up, as my grandmother went tell me, says, can't food dog name dirty pudding. So me I forgot the dirty pudding if me no know. But from me no, ain't eating. And you must make a decision for your life, yourself, what you will put up with. Because I can be a woman who tell my husband, say, if he cheat, me not go there with him, but me can have 4 or 5 months same way. It's personal choice. And so if him knows me have 4 or 5, now him have to decide what he can live with. So even our single sisters, don't let the Bible fulfill on you. Because the Bible says in the last days, 7 women will be willing to be called by the name of one man just to say they have a man. It's in the Bible. And it was written from way back when. So you see, the Lord did have vision. And him know, even people say the Bible are foolish. Some people, it is in there. So don't let the Bible fulfill on you. My sisters here, I'm not throwing a word on anybody. And it just coming on my heart and I have to talk out. You know how when we have a platform, right, we make use of them. So if I'm talking to you this evening, sister, if the gentleman have not committed to you, if he plans to leave his wife and marry you, he not leave her yet. He's still not yours. And I normally say to people, if you have a relationship with a cheater, remember he's a cheater. When he cheats on you, do not complain. Because you're in a relationship with a cheater. If you get in, because there's another thing. I spoke with a lady just yesterday or the day before, who was in a very good relationship, planning a wedding, everything with this man. And the man is somebody else's husband. And she never know. She did not know. So we have dishonest people out there. I pity you. I'm sorry for you. But the minute you find out is the minute you're supposed to be done. Because if him tell you such a big lie, even if he leave the wife now, you still want him? They say the heart is not always obedient to the head. Try make your head rule your heart in this case. That's what I'm saying to my sisters. So I have lovely sisters in the room with me, and I'm enough of talking about other people's business. I want them to talk theirs. And so they will talk the parts of their business that they want to share with the world. So ladies, general talking first before we go into specifics. And one of this general thing I have in my heart and I'm looking at is really looking at how young women know in 2022 with the odds that are against them and the opportunities that are available. A young girl this evening who she's not sure how she take back to school morning, for argument's sake. She's 16. So society look at her and say she fend for herself. What would you say to ladies like these? No, you were young once. You are still young, but you were younger. You have your struggles growing up and your challenges. How do we talk to our young girls to this evening? Anybody can start.
Well, to be honest, Doc, I don't have that experience. Nevertheless, I was a teenage mom, but I was still living at home. So I was privileged, to have my parents who stood by me from day one until now. They're still standing by me. So I never had that experience. But what I would say, try to find, a system and organization that will look out for you. And in saying that, I would want to refer them to the Women's Center.
Yes.
The Women's Center really acts as a beacon. It acts as a cushion. When I went there, we were introduced to classes, we got counseling, and we were replaced in high school. So that's how I went to York Castle. So I actually started at William Nib. Yes! Gold and black. So I actually started out at William Nib, and then I got pregnant, and then I went to York Castle. And that was made possible through the Women's Center. The connection But the thing is, I knew what I wanted. I was always focused. Yes, a little strain went, and I was not so fortunate. But thanks be to God, I am still leveling up. My bounce back is really a comeback.
Amen.
I tell you. And if you do my whole story, I remember my mother telling me at one point that listen, is only one bigger man in here.
Of course.
You know? So even though I had that child, at no point in time I got the opportunity to think that you're big. Listen, you are a child. You're still Galia.
Well, my mama told me that even if I'm 99, she's 100. Safia house.
Right. So I was still a child in the house, and my son was actually raised by all of us. So even now, my son refers to my mother as mommy and my father as daddy. And then guess what? He is everybody else's little brother. So that is my family story. But I would say to young girls, if you're going through this kind of situation, find a women's center. They offer the help. I know they will help you to level up, especially if you want to get back to in the system, in the school system. It is the right place to go because they will help you to get to that level.
Okay. Miss Felicia, do you have anything to add to that?
So definitely, I have to underscore what Natanish mentioned earlier. It's all about finding positive support because at that age, at 16 years old, basically you are susceptible to so many things, as a teenager going through different changes, and to not have that positive support, your family telling you that, this is it. You have to fend for yourself in the scenario that you mentioned earlier. The easiest thing for a 16-year-old is to find a young man who is going to support, right? But in that support, yes, it might start off good as some sort of support, but then what are the consequences? What are the repercussions? So I'm telling young women that do not fall into any of that trap. Find a positive support, have goals for your life, set standards, high standards. When I was growing up, like I had standards, but at several times I compromised and went back and did things that I wasn't supposed to do. So at 14, I was in Granville Place of Safety, and at 15, went through another difficult period. So before 16, I was just out in the world. Literally, some of my community members, I love them so much, but gosh, they wrote me off, right? It was like, you're not going to come to anything. You're going to have a lot of children before 18. You're going to fall out of school. And the thing is, it almost happened twice, not once, but twice. But it was always your why. What is your why? So I saw my mom begging on the streets, and I knew that someone has to take her off. I can't join her, right? That doesn't make any sense. So I was motivated from that early age that I can do something. I couldn't tell you what, but I knew that I had to grow up, I had to do well, and I have to come back and make a difference. And that's what I'm doing through the different organizations that I'm a part of now.
Awesome. And you brought out a very important point when you mentioned community writing people off. There are sometimes it's not only the community, your very family might be telling you today that make no sense. I can think of a young man from Jacksontown who had that experience as well, but it's not my business to talk, so I won't talk it. But he almost took his life because his mom didn't support him and other people didn't think he was awesome. But there were other persons who saw his potential and saw so much in him, and even persons from SDC and stuff. And the support he received is what caused him to rise today. So he's another star from Jacksontown that has risen high, even when the odds are against him. So what I am bringing forward is that the community has a lot to play in people's lives. And it also has come to my mind, it's not only our young ladies that are detoured and streamlined by negativity from communities happen to our young men. And for some reason, I think it is easier for the women to find back their path than for the men. I believe it is easier for the women because we find it easier to forgive a woman who mess up, because most times she will mess up with a child or something like that, or live with a man. But that sometimes the boys go do criminal things that make communities don't want to associate with them as well.
Right, and the bounce back for the boys are normally a little bit difficult, more difficult than the females, because the thing is, once their egos are dampered, then let me tell you something, they hit rock bottom. They fall into depression, and once they fall into depression, they start, and you know this song, they start to pre, that everybody don't like them, and they start to pre, and that negativity,
Yes.
it is hard for them to overcome, and therefore it takes a lot, because guess what, at that point they don't want to be confiding in anybody, because nobody want me, I may hold my peace, I may hold my corners, and that kind of thing. So the bounce back for the males are normally a little more challenging than for the females. Because as females, we have our sisters, and as bad as it may be, we can find a sister who is always going to come and encourage you. Listen, do this, I'll stand by you. And I tell you, I heard Felicia mention her story several times over and over, and yes, I went through a similar thing. We're from the same community, hey. And guess what? They bashed me, but I still had a syndicate of community persons who had my back and still have my back up to this day. I remember my church family, they stood with me.
Amen.
Yeah, they stood with me. We actually found out, and that's my parents found out that I was real pregnant the Friday. And I'm a Sabbath keeper. So on Saturday I should go to church. And I tell you, when we found out the Friday, on Saturday, all the church was in mourning. They were crying. And at that time, we had a lot of young people going to church. And everybody, it was so dismal for us. It was so dull. It was so bleak. Everybody in the church, they felt it. And that day, it was like losing somebody. And they were all crying and that kind of thing. And yeah. So I had that support from my church family, and the elders of the church, they stood by us. They came over to say to my mother, listen, this is not the end of the road.
Right.
You need to not put her out. But that was never in the mind of my parents. I tell you, from day one, that was never in the mind of my parent that they were going to send me out. I remember that Friday evening, having gone to do that pregnancy test, and it came back positive. In those days, we had the King Alfonso and the Confidence. For those of you who know those big buses. So guess what? My mother and I, we didn't take the regular bus that was going to leave us right where my father was. We took that bus that was going to go around the corner, because I tell you, Julia, we couldn't face my father.
Whoa.
We couldn't face my father. And my mother went to my godfather. And I tell you, big up Jethro, wherever you are. That is Seymour All Brother Locks. Okay. Everybody know him. He's my godfather. I'll tell you, I love him to death. And my mother went to him. And, it was rumored before that I was pregnant. And he didn't ask me, but I know that we spoke on several times, but he was open. I think he was hoping that I would just share it with him, but I kind of knew, but I was in denial.
Yes.
I was in denial. And I was saying, God, please let it not be. Some people were saying, they say if you can't swear on your Bible, Julia, God forgive me. Listen, it was the fastest time I ever swear on my Bible. That it was not so, because I was praying. I tell you, I went to my bed and nights upon nights upon nights, I would cry and I would say, God, let it not be so, right? So when my mother came back and she went to my godfather and told him, he went for my father afterwards and he took him for a ride. And he told him, and my father took it with good grace. But that was just taking it in good grace. Now, when he came home that night, he called me twice and I didn't answer. And his response was, if you'd sleep any other night, I know tonight you would not be sleeping because you can't sleep. And that was so true. But the thing is, he stood by me.
Yes.
And maybe a lot of people online would have known my story, Julia, because my father never pushed it under any carpet. He never kept it behind closed doors. He would tell every and anybody he came in contact with. And I did guidance and counseling, and I studied psychology because I understand now that what he was doing, he was trying to cope. Had he not done that, maybe today we wouldn't have him. So even though I was there feeling embarrassed, he was there trying to cope with the situation. His first daughter going to high school, make him proud. Nobody in the family has ever done that, and this is what happened. I understand, and therefore today I stand as a testimony, as a motivation for young girls who have fallen prey to that to teenage pregnancy, or you are being led astray because of peer pressure. Listen, it is real, and you just need to take a step back and say, listen, I don't need to be a part of it. Because most times, Julia, what I can tell you from my experience is that those who come and say to you, this is what we're doing and this is what is happening, they never get caught.
Yes, and sometimes they're lying.
They never get caught. But you, like the novice, you being the rookie, you are the ones who,
as they're professional,
the trap catch.
And
Right.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Yes. So I know what it is like. I know what it is like. But I want to say that my community people, they stood by me. I had persons in the community who would just come by when it is time for me to go to clinic, and they follow me to clinic. So when I go out to clinic, I go to clinic with an entourage. Yes, I went out to the clinic with an entourage. I had at any given time, I had 3-4 people, and I can call name. Marie Campbell was always there with mommy. Yeah. Our neighbor Charm, she was always there, even though sometimes they tend to be a maca. Community people stay, they're with you and they're not with you, but they were always there. They were always there. I must give kudos to them, despite sometimes they can be very challenging. But I had community support that, really, really wanted to see me bounce back, and we're really sorry for what took place.
Yes, and Felicia said like you wanted to say something. Another time, you forget what you wanted to say. Not true. I know. And that is very important as we move forward in our lives. And I am not today dwelling so much on the past. I'm allowing our sister to tell your experience, to motivate you that the present, today, going forward can be different for young people. Because, and as Natanish rightly says, for the boys, it is harder. And so we are calling on community persons to be peers, to be mentors for our boys and our girls, because mentors make a difference. When you know even one person under the sun believes in you and wants to support you, it makes a difference. It makes you want to get up in the morning and not give up. And for the boys, younger boys don't mature as fast as younger girls. So women mature faster than men. So can you imagine when a young man falls through the crack, having now to prove himself to become a man before time, then he has his ego to massage, and you have other men and other boys telling him how he's to be a man and prove to them, get him into wrong things, because at that age and that stage of not having the family support and anything, not doing so well in school, so it's a struggle, it becomes easy to accept, and you want money to spend. And I realized that the younger you are, the more you want to spend. Can't tell me why, because the younger you are, the less money you have. But it is an urge now to be like, you want the Clarks, and in my days, it wasn't Clarks, it was John Sport. But it wasn't John Sport in my days either. But I remember where it was. But everybody did want to have them knapsack and them this, and the girls used to want to have. For us, as young people, it's not so much what we wear to school used to be our thing back then. It's when we are seen in Mandeville Square in after school and on the weekends what you have on and how you look between schools. And then I went to a school where I do love our uniform now, but back then it was a maternity dress. So I used to say that I have my maternity dress with my dribbler. I got this little straight brown dress with a little tie. And for me, I remember I was going to Rossi's because I started high school at Rossi's. We're wearing our nice pink pleated uniform with our belt around our waist. And then we're going back to Mandeville to live. And my mother went and registered me into a school where you have Manchester High School, where you have nice pleated skirt. But she put me into Bishop Gibson High School. And my aunt was like 2 years older than I am. So we told we are young people. Mm-hmm. My aunt and I were at home in Lucy, and my mom bring home and said to me, say, proudly hold up this dress and say, this is what your uniform is going to look like. And me like, Mommy, why are you giving maternity dress with dribbler? Because that was the first thing I said to my mom. But I learned to love my uniform at Bishop Gibson High School. And we used to boast that even though our uniform didn't have belts and all of that, Bishop girls had better shape than everybody else. Because we were taught how to maintain ourselves when we are not in uniform. And then we used to have some parents, especially fathers. And I learned that recently how prominent it was when we were talking to our alumni group, where the fathers would tell the mothers, make sure you put on belt on the little girl under that uniform, they come in want to shape bad. Oh. So some girls used to wear belts underneath their uniforms. I didn't know that when I was going to school. So I'm learning that afterwards. But we were taught how to take care of ourselves. We were taught Bishop Gibson High School really, really did well for us. It is like, it used to be sister school to like Westwood and all of that. But then we changed. We stopped wearing Jippy Japper hat and all of those things. They stopped doing boarding. So by the time I got there, they were no longer boarding and we're no longer wearing hats. We're no longer English girls. Because used to call those girls down there, they call our sisters. And them girls down there, so the English girl. So, yeah, so them girls down at Trelawney are still English girls. And them Baka World and them, country girls and all of that. Because we were no longer wearing our Jippy Japper hats. But we were once wearing Jippy Japper hats and all of that. So we started to, and then we were Anglicans and they were not. And so we used to say, why you call them our sister schools? Because, and our brother school is in Kingston. And we were taught at school, when I went to school, and when I went to the Bishop Gibson High School, we had a good network of support. And our principal let us all know, you're young ladies.
Yes.
You must walk away, talk away. You don't eat with food. You walk on the street with food in your mouth. We couldn't go into the market in our uniforms. So if our parents wanted us to buy anything at the market before we go home, we'd have to take a note to school.
For permission.
For permission. So when anybody go and report us to say they saw us in the market in our uniforms, the principal would say they know. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we take shortcut through the market and walk through the market just to say, okay, I'm not buying anything, I'm just walking. You're disobedient and you do all kind of crazy stuff. But we had support. And like you, Natanish, I grew up in an Adventist church as well. So things were not always perfect at home, but I had support at church. So there I belong somewhere. And in Manchester, we live in a town. They didn't live in big communities like how you guys grew up in Jacksontown. Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up in that. We grew up on a street where everybody locked the gates and locked the doors and the dogs are out there. So we grew up in what you call society. So to find support in that kind of society is not very easy. But then we were part of a church that provides a kind of a support. Mm-hmm. Felicia, you had a different experience as your exposure was different. And that is what I want to bring out. 7 different brothers, 7 different minds, same community, different experience because of the community, societal background you had, and because of the home background you had, and how people identifies with people. So not just coming from a balanced home where everything was okay. It was easier for the society to color surround her and support her. You are now coming from a broken home, daddy dead, mommy not so start out in our mind, crazy on the street. So people now don't want to identify with that family or with you. So it was easier for them to say you're not going to come to anything and to lash at you. And I have learned something very important in my psychology and in studying community dynamics, because I did community dynamics in relation to parenting. So I look at it from the parenting angle. And a lot of time communities find it easy to disassociate and abuse the one person in the community that shows up the community's fault. So you are the person now that will show that this is not such a good community. You have brokenness within the community, and everybody can find somebody to blame. So this, you are the one, the beating stick. But the very community, I have also funny. This, the dynamics are very funny. The very person the community beats is the very first person the community will highlight and lift up when they have turned the corner.
That's how they are.
When they have turned the corner. So Felisa, tell us about your experience now when the corner is turned or is being turned. What is your experience now with your community that you're from? What is it like?
So I have to really agree with everything that you mentioned earlier, you know, from birth. Like I was that child, right? So I lived with my mom very early, and then after she got sick, I started living with my grandmother. So it was just my grandmother and, you know, my grandmother taking care of me at that time. No, we weren't seen as that family, you know, having that good family structure. It was just, you know, a grandmother growing up a little girl because our mother was all right, our mother on the streets. So at my early age, my community actually wanted me in foster care from very early. I remember it clearly. So my mom used to go to the cane field, and she was sort of going at that time and get fruits. And they were like, no, you can't have your child. She needs to be in foster care because foster care is going to be better. And that is when my grandmother really took me on. And we didn't have much. It was abject poverty. We had no electricity, no running water. We would bathe outside. So it was, you know, poverty. When you look at us, you know, it's just we are poor, but we're trying, right? Now, going through, the only thing that was good that person's really highlighted me for at the time was my academic success, because I was always seen as the bright girl. You know, when it's awards or graduation, she's going to get all the prizes. She's going to be talked about for being extremely brilliant, right? So I was top student from early childhood right up to college, right? And the school community was it for me. So my grandmother tried. She gave me love in terms of what she could really give me. But school was my support from early childhood to primary school and to high school, right? So school was my support. School really taught me the values that, guess what? It might be rough at home, but all of you are getting an education, and this is your equal opportunity to actually be successful. But it was really high school, Westwood, that you mentioned earlier, that did it for me when I realized that I am at one of the top schools in Trelawney, and I have so many diverse persons coming from different parishes, even different countries. I'm like, wow, I'm here with these people, you know, getting the same teachers teaching you. So that did something for me, and I tried to fit in as best as I could, but I wasn't fitting in because I'm still that poor girl who is not so posh and everything. So, you know, sometimes you're a little dirty, and persons try to also disassociate from me at that time. And then in high school, you know, the boys start looking. It's not a co-educational school, but you interact with young men on the streets. So the boys started looking, and you know, persons started looking. And that is when things started going the other way, because now you're getting that sort of attention that you were always looking for, right? So I want to really go back to the point that you mentioned earlier, that find the positive stuff support, because it's so easy to actually get it from where it's given freely.
Yes.
Because this is what you want from your family. This is what you want
You're
from
getting that affirmation and affinity
exactly
from whomever, and so you're going to gravitate towards it.
So by then now I started gravitating towards that sort of attention and other things, and they were like, she bad, not working. What list? It now go work. So that was my community situation. You still had persons though who really believed in me
and cared.
Yes, and they would talk to me, but all I wanted is not that I was actively involved at that point. All I wanted was some sort of support,
yes.
Right? And the more they chased me and said, you not do this, I realized that I was actually going closer to the form of support that felt positive, right? So had my little challenges that I'll talk about in my book.
Yeah.
right.
You hear it, the book is coming.
Yes.
And that is one of the things. Before I'm going to give the ladies the platform now to talk about yourself, where you're at now, your business is. But that's you brought something very important again. Both of you ladies have been listening to you, and it brings something forward. Is where do you get your affirmation and affinity from? Where do you get your support? Because that is what is going to make the difference, where you get your support. So families and communities, when you have your young people down in the dumps and you are pushing them down a little further by cursing them out, and I will tell you, my sister might get mad at me for this, but it's one of those things that we have to learn to live our realities. I remember she was in a relationship with a man, became her husband and her child's father, and then her ex-husband. But I remember I always say, maybe if my mom and father had handled the situation better, she wouldn't even have married this man. But the more you tell him, no good for you, you're chasing, that's what she's going to, she strengthens her resolve to say, I am going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to do this. And especially now when you are cursing them out, and the thing you're telling them not to go towards is the fire that is giving them warmth. So you cursing them, so you're making it cold for them. And so the fire, the same fire that is going to burn them, is the same fire that is providing the warmth, the love, the affection and the affinity and everything. So you feel comfortable right there. That's where they're going to go towards. So when you want your children to change course, love them a little bit more. I remember when my mom was, she affirmed my daughter's father, she affirmed Jeffrey so much. And I remember I said to my brother one day, my sister one day, said, no, take me go bother with a man here. They said, why? Come mommy like him. He said, that's the problem. Mommy like him, something wrong with him. Mommy like him, something wrong. Because my mom never liked anybody really. Everybody we talk to, she finds some fault. And then she was liking this gentleman, and I was like, we didn't like him before she liked him, but no, me cannot but I want to like him again because she like him. And that is how it is with young people. But you have to talk, and I was saying my mother had ulterior motive for liking this man. And so it's not my story today, so we'll not talk about my ulterior thoughts. But I'm going to use the minutes that we have now. I'm going to give Felicia and I'm going to give Natanish an opportunity to now tell you how they can serve you through what they are doing, how they can help you as a young person today. What do they have to offer that provides that support and that care towards young people?
All right, Doc. My bounce back was really a comeback, and I tell you, I've been leveling up ever since the birth of my son 26 years ago. Oh my God!
Yes,
I've been leveling up. For the past 26 years. I knew what I wanted. I went back to school. I excelled, and I must say that yes, I have regrets, but if I were supposed to go life over, there's some things that I wouldn't change in the script. Because where I'm at today is as a result of what happened then.
Amen.
I'm so proud of my son too. And it allows me to work, for that. It sets me on a quest for that purpose, to fulfill purpose. So I went from high school into teachers college, where I pursue guidance and counseling. Then I went back to do psychology. And of course, I started my business in 2019. That is Etiquette and Protocol Solutions. But prior to that, I've always loved anything that happens to do with uniform, that happens to do with order, that happens to do with refinement. I've always had a quest for that. And so I would, try to put myself together. So when I comb my hair, it would always be neat and slick. And I try to cool down my face. I try to I've always loved that kind of thing. And so I try to be poised. I try to be purposeful. And that was one of the reasons that led me to seek out, how I can become an etiquette consultant. Because I wanted to offer that change to individuals around us. I wanted our young men or women to level up, to become the best version of themselves, to become unapologetically, authentically me. Yeah, I don't want to be like the Joneses. I want to be me. And so my quest now is to empower young women, young men, children, to don't try to fit into spaces that are not there.
Thank you.
Build your own table.
Yes,
If there isn't a seat at that table, build your own table. So I'm empowering them through my organization, the services I offer. I am empowering women and men and children just to take up space, to make that lasting first impression that people that will remain etched in the mind of individuals who you come in contact with on a daily. And that will also allow people to see you in a positive and professional light.
Yes.
And will want to associate with you because of what you exude. And so it starts from your inner confidence, just streaming through. So looking at you on the outside, we're not just talking about the beauty that is outside, but we're talking about the beauty that is within. And so we are enhancing that to ensure that you become the best version of yourself through Etiquette and Protocol Solutions. So if you want to level up, you can, go onto my website at www.etiquetteandprotocolsolutions.com, and you can sign up for our courses. We have the Polished Professional, we have Mind Your Manners, we have Business Etiquette 101. We do an array of we offer an array of services that will allow young people, old people, married people, single people, children, just to level up.
Okay, we're leveling up here. Miss Felicia, tell us how you're going to help us to level up.
So for me, I believe in making every day count. So
Amen.
I work like it's my last day every day. So I'm always doing something new. But right now, I want to make a difference in the lives of others through education and entrepreneurship. So I'm the founder and managing director of a full-time school, Western STEM Academy, that really provides full-time educational services for students who are 3 all the way up to 18 years old. So that's early childhood, preparatory level, as well as high school level education. It is STEM-based, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics-based, teaching students through hands-on methods of teaching and learning. We're not only in Jamaica, we have students from all over the Caribbean, even the United States of America, as well as Canada. So it's an international school. And I love coaching because I'm here because of, the whole person's poured into me.
Yes.
And I want to pour into others, not just children, but adults. So I coach, I help persons to start and grow successful businesses, because starting a business is not easy, guys.
No.
But it is so worth it. To have your own money, to be able to pay yourself and not wait on a payday. I read something on Instagram. It was so funny. Someone was saying, I just drank the sardine oil and I'm saving the sardine for dinner because 8 days before payday. And I'm like, it's funny, but it's the reality of several persons. We're not able to make ends meet, and we're working. We have to dress up nice and go to work. But if you check the bank account, nothing.
Yes.
Right? And we just
Stop
have to
throwing
face
at me.
it. We just have to face it for what it is. I experienced that for a few years when I started teaching, and I'm like, I love this, but then I want more. I want to do more. And that's what I'm getting out of my clients that I coach. I've coached over 300 business owners. Oh my gosh. And then in addition to the coaching, I realized that I love social media. Everybody who sees me, they know that I'm on my phone. I've checked my phone more than 10 times since I've been here. That's me, right? But social media is powerful. It's a powerful hub to help persons to earn honestly, right? So some persons are really busy in terms of you want to start that business, but you don't have the time. You have family, you have husband, oh boy, you have children, right? So I started another business, which is a marketing agency, which literally runs your business online for you. All you do is turn up, offer the service. We get you the clients online. We market your business for you, put your business in front of new persons, and you're earning, right?
Yes.
So those are the three things that I'm doing now. Persons can work with me by coming, registering your child to attend this online school, as well as if you really want to make some more money, we can definitely talk, right? So those are the two areas that I'm at now. The book is later business that.
All right. So there you have it. I have two awesome ladies in here with me. And there's something that Felicia did not tell you about herself. And it's something that I never remembered until I was looking at her. And she was talking about coaching and all of that. I heard about Felicia for many years when I came to Trelawney. I used to hear about her. I hear her story all the time. This little girl that go up to Westwood and everything. And people always say to me, I need to go and meet this little girl because you can't help her. But I never made the effort. For some reason, it wasn't the time for us to meet. But I met Felicia, and I don't know if Felicia remember how we met. But I met Felicia, and then later she became Trelawney's Festival Queen second runner-up. So she was the runner-up that served as queen for the entire year. She was JCDC Festival Queen. Do you remember that?
Yes, I can never forget.
Yes.
Right? And I also reconnected with Natanish then.
Right.
Very interesting story about,
Yes. So you see, yes. So life is kind of a cycle. And I do remember her then. And I remember when I met this young girl, I started to try to help her to get things right because I was impressed by the effort she had to make. She was going to school in Manchester and she was turning up in Trelawney for her practice, for her training, for her grooming. And it is because of that she meets she husband. So you never complain about the circle and cycles of life. And as Natasha said, changing something in your past is going to change the outcome you're experiencing today. So these two ladies, their stories are never done. You're going to be hearing from them and again, because I'll be bringing them back, especially when their phases are changing and they don't realize that they need to come and tell people so the phase change. I will reach out. So I'm that kind of a coach that will reach out to the lifestyle coaches to tell them that it's your time to let the world know you're leveling up to come along with you. So I'm telling you people, Natanish Eyes, Felicia, don't miss these names. Don't forget them. Follow them on Facebook. Reach out to them. I might need Felicia to get my business sorted out. Who knows? And I still need Natanish Eyes because I still have a problem with my little pinky. Because growing up, and it's natural for me. As soon as I take something up to drink, the pinky goes out. I don't have, even at home I'm drinking, so it's not only when I go to public it goes all the time. Yes, and I remember my first partner, my children's, he did love it. So when I go out with him and I'm drinking and the fingers are out, he used to feel real good, and he let everybody know this nice little English girl like him. But then things and times have changed, and we learn that the pinky needs to stay down. So I have to retrain my pinky and other things and stuff, And I'm now growing my hair again. No, for first time in a long time, no have no locks. So I have to learn how to manage this hair. But guess what? I thought to myself this evening, I looked at myself in the mirror when I was coming here, and I said to myself, my hair is my way of expressing myself. My hair is the way of the part of me that you're not going to control. Show the part where me love to be free and freedom. That's what my hair means for me. Growing up, we are from a family of very long hair. Because I have a great grandmother who is full Jew and another one that is half Syrian. So the hair is in my family. We used to hair. But I used to always cut my hair. Every 2 years, I go bald. I remember the last time I cut my hair before I went off to college. My pastor started to call me Carlton. He was new to the church, and then said me cut off all of my long hair. And then my hair would grow back quickly. So my hair is my freedom, my expression. When I had to lock my hair, it was because I need to. But no, I don't care what people think about what I do with my hair. Because I myself don't know what I intend to do with my hair right this minute. And I was saying to somebody recently, it takes a lot of work to look as unkempt as my hair looks. It takes a lot of work for it to look this way. It didn't just happen because I deliberately do it to get this look. So don't look at it like it's something get up. I didn't wake up like this. I said I didn't wake up with my hair like this. I wake up awesome. I wake up beautiful, but I had to work my hair to become unkempt. You know what I mean? So we all need to live our own realities. And so as we move in through things, for your inspiration this evening, I want to say to you, do not wait until your ducks are in a row to cross the street. And I'm quite sure Felicia and Natishna would agree with me. Planning your journey is important. However, don't wait until you can see the whole journey. Grab your map and go. In my younger days, we used to like to go vacation Jamaica. And we have an idea where we want to end up, but we have no clue how we'd get there. We'd have our road maps. Back then, you didn't have Google. Or if it did exist, we never know anything about it, and we never have no cell phone. So we used to take out our maps, and when our partner and I, we reached my girlfriend and her partner, my boyfriend and our partner, we used to drive. And so he drives, and they drive, and we drive out, and we have our map, especially in the summertime. And we reach at a spot and we look and we say, we're going to go there, so we're going to go there. So we have our maps. And if the map failed us in that, when we think we'd reach at a place where we could find a nice guest house, and when we reach and we're tired and we don't get up at a guest house, we used to park the cars together and sleep. We used to be safe then. It was risky. We never even know it was risky. Right. We could never run those roads then. But we started our journey. We grab our maps and we go. I'm saying to you this evening, make your plan. Grab your map and go. All you need to know is to see is where you're going to put your first step. Yeah. And the other things will fall into place. You don't need to have all the answers before you take actions. And the funny thing about life is this. As soon as you start the journey, some of the places you intended to go, your circumstances will change and you no longer feel the urge to go. I'm saying to you this evening, the wind is blowing. The sea is ready. All you need to do is to make a choice, make a decision to set your sail. And there's lots of coaches, even right in studio with us today, that can guide you in setting your sail, teach you how to hold your rudder, and to keep your ship on course. It's your life, not the Joneses. So don't plan it with others. Plan it with your intention in mind and walk in purpose. I say to you this evening, walk good. To all my listeners, Patrick and Patrick. We have two different Patricks. We have Patrick Cross Honor. We have Patrick Bedford. We have Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Audrey and Rev J and the others that are on the other platforms that we are not seeing. And we have Levine, our faithful listener, Levine. Yeah, my hair is looking fly.
I want to say that before we go though, that my church was not the Seventh-day Adventist; it was the Seventh-day Baptist.
Yes, yes, because and that's the thing about life. You have different, even Adventist persons going to church. The other day, someone was saying to me, you're a 70 church. We said, it depends on which one you're talking. He said, it's not only one 70 church you have. I said, no. You have many 70 church. You have many Sunday churches, but you have one God. Go figure.
Yes.
I'm saying to you this evening, this is Dr. Asha Muwenda from Healing Moments, and I'm inviting you to come sit with me next week when we have another awesome young woman lined up to come and tell us about life's journey. And listen to me. For your life. If you need help, ask for help. Don't wonder why make nobody not help you. Guess what? Sometimes you're going through looks good enough that nobody knows you need support. So ask for it. This is Healing Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Asha Muwendo, and we will do this all again next week. I'm saying thanks to my guests this evening, Felicia Ricketts Graham and Miss Natanish Hines. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your leveling up story with us, and we'll do it again some other time. Blessings.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.